Hello, you are watching this video because you or someone you care about is suffering from dyslexia or other type of reading disorder. I want you to think about 4 points while we go through this brief video. Number one, imagine that you're frustrated with your child's school performance, and your child as well is frustrated going to school daily. Maybe it's hard to get them to go to school. They come home and they're unhappy. Things aren't working well in school. Well, I want you to imagine that one day you come home and your child presents you with a report card of A's and how good you would feel about that for him and for yourself. Secondly, we all know that colleges are getting more and more difficult to get into. Things are getting tougher and tougher. And imagine that your child actually gets into the college of his or her choice. Third, we know how busy you are. Life is very hectic between work at home, work outside the home, and how there's hardly time for anyone to catch your breath. And on top of that, you have to do the homework with your child because they're not able to sit and do it themselves. Well, imagine that you come home one day and your child shows you that they have actually done their homework by themselves, so that now you can spend time with them in a more enjoyable way. Fourth, you know that better grades can potentially mean a scholarship for your child. Well, imagine that your child actually gets accepted for an academic scholarship to the institution that he or she wants to go to. Hi, I'm Dr. Harry Schick. I've been in practice for 31 years working with children with dyslexia and other learning spectrum disorders. And I am the author of this book, Life-Changing Care: How to Help Your Child Recover from Dyslexia, ADHD, and Other Learning Spectrum Disorders. 1 in every 5 children we know now has some kind of language-based learning problem. That's a lot of children. And although many of them present in the same way, we know that every one of them is different. So how can they all be treated the same way? They can't. In order to treat yourself or your child effectively, to make the differences that really need to be made, we have to understand what is the underlying cause, or what is at the root of the difficulty. So we look at things first by assessing how the child is actually reading. So I'd like you to show you on a screen how we can view and assess actually how a child is reading. What you're seeing here now is a child utilizing a very unique and specific diagnostic tool. The glasses that he is wearing are equipped with computer sensors opposite his eyes, so that every time his pupils make a move, it is recorded for speed and accuracy. The first thing that we measure is how well he can keep a fixed gaze on a spot. You'll notice that he's looking at an X on a paper. All the while that he is looking at this, the computer is registering whether or not his gaze is fixed and still within normal calculated limits. We go to the third part of the assessment, where a child will read a story silently to himself. Once the story is done, he will be asked a number of yes or no questions to make sure that the story that he read was appropriate for his grade level of comprehension. We do it in this way because we want to make sure that any problems that show up on the testing are not a result of comprehension, but as a result of poor reading capability. While he is reading, the sensors in the glasses are picking up the way in which he reads. Now, if you look on the screen, you will see the red dot that moves. The red dot that is moving across the screen is showing you exactly the manner in which his eyes moved across the story. You will see a variety of choppy movements. Notice that sometimes his eyes stay fixated on a word. Now, the word that his eyes are fixated on is not a particularly difficult word. It's just that his brain has not caught up to where his reading is. Notice also what is called regressions, how his eyes move backwards. And sometimes his eyes don't even start at the beginning of a line. Can you imagine trying to read and understand something if your eyes moved in this way? The second way that we do things is through doing very extensive metabolic testing. We know that the way in which a person's metabolism and robotic chemistry work has a very, very large effect on brain chemistry and a learning ability. But in order to know what's specifically going on with you or your child, we have to do testing. Not everybody has the same presentation. These tests can include blood tests, it can include saliva testing, it can also include food testing for specific allergies that may be interfering. How do we know? We have to test. So what I'm inviting you to do is I would like to invite you to my office for a free consultation. That free consultation includes a records review, a reading assessment like you saw on the computer, and also a neurological screening. You know, if a person has a problem with reading or with any kind of learning, it's not enough to just try to get them to read, to sit down with them and to tutor them and to show them if there's something malfunctioning behind the scenes, that has to get corrected. Otherwise, it's like trying to plant seeds in rocky soil. Doesn't it make more sense to first make the soil fertile and then go plant the seeds? We think it does also. So we'd like to invite you in. You can call us 732-819-7890 and tell them you saw this video and you would like your free consultation. Thank you.